Hi class, today we are going to look over our group work that was completed for the mystery powder investigation. During the previous class, we input all of our findings into a class chart, which stated what we thought the powder was and why. The way we are going to do this is to talk with one another directly and use evidence to support our claims. I would like to encourage you to agree or disagree with one another during this discussion. If somebody does agree with your claim, keep in mind that they are not doing it to insult you or to hurt you. They simply just have a different thought or got it using a different chain of evidence. By the end of the discussion, I hope that we can all come to a consensus of what the powder is that is supported by evidence from the previous investigations. So I'd like to begin the discussion by asking Jayla and Emily what they thought the powder was and why, and if we can all look at Jayla and Emily's work in front of us.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I think what we said that it's baking soda.
Wait, you thought it was baking soda? That's not the same thing that we got.
Oh, really? Yeah, we said that it was baking soda for sure.
Oh, huh.
Jayla, do you mind using some evidence to explain why you believed it was baking soda?
Yeah, well, we compared the properties of the mystery powder to all the properties of the powders on the data chart.
Did anybody, what did your group do to find that it was flour?
Um, well, we looked at the texture and the color of the mystery powder, and then we weighed it, and so we saw that it was flour.
Does anybody have anything they would like to add or critique in the way Mina and Will conducted their investigation?
Uh, well, I think you probably needed to have more evidence than the ones that you used.
Um, Wait, like more evidence? We used the ones with we thought we only needed 3 of them, and then we figured it out.
Yeah, but I don't think it's flour. I'm pretty sure it's baking soda.
Um, well, but it was smooth and white and weighed 24 grams, so that matches flour.
Yeah, but you needed to collect more evidence than you did.
Like, what do you mean?
Uh, well, I mean, if you just look at the texture and color, you can't tell what powder you have because there are a lot of things that are smooth and white on that chart, and so you can't just know from that.
Um, well, we also used the weight.
Yeah, but there's even like you still needed to use more than that if you wanna get the answer right.
Oh,
Okay, class. Well, Jayla, let's go back to your group. So, what properties did you specifically look at to come to your conclusion that the mystery powder was in fact baking powder?
We looked at all of them.
You looked at them all, and why did you think looking
Uh-huh.
at them all was the best way to get the answer?
Well, we wanted to be really thorough and be really good scientists. That's what makes a good scientist.
Okay. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add or disagree with to Jayla and Emily's group using all of the properties to define their powder? Yes, Carlos.
Yeah, I don't think that you needed to use weight. That's not an important one.
Do you mind explaining
Wait,
to the class?
huh?
Yeah, sure. So you don't need to use weight, because it doesn't tell you what it is. It just tells you how much of it you have.
Wait, what? That that doesn't that doesn't make any sense. Why would it be on the chart then?
Uh, well, it's on the chart just so you can see how much. I don't know why it's on the chart really, but you don't need it because it's like if you it's like if you think about sugar, like if you have a bag of sugar or if you have just like a cup of sugar, it's still sugar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how much of it you have, it's still going to be sugar.
Huh. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, neither did I. Huh.
Mina and Emily, what are your thoughts about what Carlos just said about weight?
Um, yeah, I didn't think about it like that. I thought we needed to know the weight. Yeah, so did I.
Okay, well, does Carlos's explanation as to why weight is not needed make sense to everybody?
Yeah, I guess it does. I just hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah, I guess I just didn't, because it seems like it would be important.
Yeah, but it's not. You don't need to know how much it is. That doesn't make it more like better flour or better sugar. It's just like more of it.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh.
Okay, so while we're still going through all of our investigations and our evidence that we collected, I would like to look at our class chart with all the different types of powders and the properties attached to it. Okay,
Yeah.
so if we decide that weight is not a needed property, should we bother
Uh-huh.
looking at that at all, or should we cross it out so that we don't get
No,
confused?
I think we should cross it out.
Okay, well then let's all cross out weight from our table so that we just don't look at it anymore. And we're going to work together to try to figure out which powder is the mystery powder. Okay, so Mina and Will, what is one property that you found the mystery powder had that helped you decide that it was flour?
Yeah, it's smooth.
It's smooth. So let's cross out all the powders that's rough. So which ones would those be?
Let's see. Those would be sugar and salt, because those are both rough.
Okay, now who would like to continue this pattern and helping the class eliminate other powders? Go ahead, Will, you can lead it.
It was white.
Okay, does anybody have anything else they'd like to add about the properties that they saw in the mystery powder?
When we mixed some of it with vinegar, it bubbled up.
Yeah, I did do that. And also when I mixed some of it with water, it looked clear.
Okay. So does everybody feel that the properties that they believe are important were talked about? So we did reaction with vinegar and it bubbles, right? So we're going to cross out which ones on the chart?
Yeah, you can cross out let's see. Well, you can cross out flour because it doesn't have a reaction with vinegar. So you can cross that one out. And you can cross out cornstarch because that also doesn't have a reaction with vinegar. But then, yeah, you're gonna keep baking soda and baking powder. And then, yeah, then you can cross out baking powder because it looked cloudy when we mixed some of it with water.
Okay. So let's go back to what Will and Mina originally had. They said that the mystery powder was flour. So how has your idea changed? And what evidence did you see from the class chart now that helped you change your idea? Or any other students' ideas?
Well, I thought that it was flour, but now we've crossed that one out. So, yeah, because it didn't have a reaction with vinegar, and also it looked cloudy when we mixed some of it with water. Yeah, we didn't do those because we thought it was smooth and white and 24 grams, so it was flour.
Yeah, it can't be flour though.
Right. So I guess if the only one left at the end of all of this is baking soda, then it has to be baking soda.
Yeah, I mean we crossed the rest of them out. So if that's all right, then I guess it has to be baking soda.
Well, one thing that I want you, Will and Mina, to get out of this discussion is that just because your powder was crossed out does not mean, let me rephrase that. I don't want you to assume that this is the right answer. I want you to understand why it is. So can one of your classmates explain again how we went through the chart and crossed properties off and why flour was not the mystery powder?
I can. Okay, so if you had mixed a little bit of it with vinegar, which I could tell you what happened is that it bubbled up.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we did that with flour, it didn't do anything. Remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it can't be flour because when we tested it like that, then we knew that it bubbled up. So it can't be flour.
Okay.
And then when we mixed some of it with water, it looked clear. And the only ones that looked clear on the chart when we mixed it with water, like it's not, we'd already crossed out some of the other ones. So by that point it had to be baking soda or baking powder. And baking soda is the only one that looked clear when we mixed some of it with water. So it has to be baking soda.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Jayla and Emily, how is the way that we found the mystery powder different from the way you found the mystery powder?
Well, we looked at all of the properties and wrote them all down for the mystery powder. And we saw that it was smooth and white and bubbled with vinegar and was clear when mixed with water and was 24 grams. And then we looked at the chart and found the one that matched. Uh-huh.
Okay. And why do you think that the way you did it or the way that we did it as a class was the more accurate way of looking at it?
I think you can do either one, but the way that we did it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody agree or disagree with Jayla's idea that looking at all the properties in the chart was the correct way to solve the mystery powder?
Well, you didn't need all of them because you didn't have to weigh it.
Yeah, I think if you can do it without having to do all of the things, then that's probably better. It doesn't take as long.
Okay, so let's turn and talk to each other for a couple seconds and think about which properties are needed when trying to identify the mystery powder. Okay, so turn and talk to each other for.
Well, I think
I mean, that's what I said.
Yeah, I think so. That makes sense.
Okay, class. Did you have enough time to discuss?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wrote down in the shared workspace, and I'll take notes of just what the properties were that you guys talked about that are absolutely needed when identifying the mystery powder. Okay, so go ahead. What properties did you guys talk about?
well, I think you need all of them except for weight.
Yeah, that makes sense because you don't need the weight because of what Carlos said, but I think you need the rest of them.
Yeah.
Can anybody explain in more detail why you decided you need the rest of them?
Well, the rest of them, they're ones that tell you what it is.
Yeah, except because the weight does it. The weight just tells you how much of it you have, but the rest of them help you know what it is.
Okay, so do we all agree? Are we at a consensus that weight is not a property that's needed to identify the powder? Okay.
Yeah.
And are we also in a consensus that after relooking at our class chart of all the different types of powders and the properties, that our mystery powder was baking soda?
Yeah,
Are we in a
it's
consensus for
definitely
that?
baking soda. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So after discussing the investigation and changing some of our answers in the class chart or what we thought the mystery powder was going to be, how do we feel about our answers that we believe the mystery powder is baking soda?
I mean, I'm happy that I got the right answer on the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some things that we had originally thought about the powder or its properties that other classmates challenged with evidence?
Well, I thought you needed weight, but you don't. Right, yeah. And we thought it was flour, but it's not. It's baking soda.
Okay. And are all of those misconceptions, were they corrected after talking with your classmates and working it out?
Wait, misconceptions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are all of those things that you thought were correct before, were they worked out by talking with your classmates? And you
Uh-huh.
can see now
Yeah.
why weight isn't a property that is needed to find the mystery powder. And also, it's not necessary to use all the properties, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, excellent work today, everyone. By talking out our claims and reasoning with each of us, we are able to come to a clear consensus about what we know the mystery powder is.